George Harrison, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and John Lennon, the four members of the Beatles, walked across the regular zebra crossing in order to take a shot that would be used for the band's last album cover. This event became famous. On September 26, 1969, the band took the photograph in front of the EMI studios in London, which was the location where the majority of their previous recordings were made. With the passage of more than half a century, the bridge now has its very own webcam and is recognized by English heritage as an important cultural venue. Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, is the most recent royal to reproduce the iconic photograph. Music lovers and celebrities alike have proposed, had weddings, and even dropped ashes on the black and white ground over the course of the years. And in the end, the last days of the Beatles author Ken McNabb stated in a prior interview with BBC's Good Morning Scotland that Paul was the one who came up with the idea for the Abbey Road photograph. McNabb stated that Paul had made a sketch of what he intended to happen. The late Scottish photographer Iain took a series of photographs while perched on a ladder for almost 10 minutes, all the time a law enforcement officer was blocking the flow of traffic in the opposite direction. Ken mentioned that they had to cross the zebra crossing 6 times, and he went on to say that Iain selected the 5th stroll for the cover because their legs were arranged in a perfect V arrangement. Moreover, it is said that Paul was barefoot since his shoes were too tight for him to wear them. Richard Porter, an authority on the Beatles who organizes London Beatles Walks excursions, claims that even the title of the album was inspired by the route. So he told Sky News. Everest was supposed to be the name of the album when it was first conceived. It was going to be named after the brand of cigarettes that Geoff Emerick, the recording engineer for the Beatles, preferred to smoke. It was someone who came up with the brilliant notion that they should take the image at Mount Everest. After essentially stating that they would not be going there, they made the decision to call it Abbey Road and take the photo outside of their studios. It was a lot simpler and a lot less expensive, but the album was called Abbey Road virtually by default. It was a significant advantage. In 1996, a bizarre conspiracy theory began to circulate, which stated that the cover of Abbey Road was a funeral procession, with John serving as the preacher, Ringo as the undertaker, and George as the grave digger within the procession. It was reported that Paul was walking all the way to his own burial while he was barefoot. Later on, Paul made a satirical reference to the entire situation in the artwork and title of his concert album, Paul is Live, which was released in 1993. And with regard to the mystery man that was shown on the right side of the cover, he was without a doubt the most incredible photobomber I have ever seen. As a result of multiple individuals coming forward and claiming to be him, the figure, who was clad in a brown coat and a white shirt, was identified many years later. When the photograph was taken, he was actually a traveler from the United States named Paul Cole, and he was still waiting for his wife. Then I informed her that I'd been to enough museums to watch what's going on outside. I'll just wait here and see what happens. Those guys were strolling across the street like a queue of ducks, and I caught a glimpse of them when I occurred to peek up. The fact that they appeared to be rather extreme at the time led me to refer to them as a group of kooks. Barefoot, you did not go about your business in London. After some time had passed, Paul was taken aback when he witnessed himself appearing in the backdrop of an album cover. After looking at the album, he stated, Paul immediately recognized myself. I was wearing a brand new sports jacket, and I had recently purchased a pair of shell-rimmed spectacles. In order for my children to see me, I instructed them to take out a magnifying glass. In 2008, Paul, who had reached the age of 98, passed away, which was a sad event.